the ocean and the birds. Let's see the view. I can see humpback whales spouting in the mornings when I have my coffee. So cool. I'm just hopping on this camera because I just read a stupid meme. Who knows if it's from Deepak Chopra? Like, people love to put the photo of a celebrity and then some random quote and attribute it to them. So I don't know if he actually said it, but it was something along the lines of like that, you know, everyone likes to blame the devil for the bad in the world, the evil in the world, but it's actually a trick of the ego, because our ego wants to convince us that the evil is something outside of us. And like outside of oneself. Like, I want to believe that there's bad things, that there's evil things in the world, because I don't want to take responsibility for the fact that I have evil within me. That's so damn ridiculous. And it's along the same lines of spiritual bypassing and victim blaming and gaslighting. It's a favorite tool of these spiritual gurus who like to manipulate and control people. And I'm not suggesting that Deepak Chopra is one of those people, but maybe he is, I don't know. But that quote is like one of the most egotistical things I've ever heard, because it suggests that only you exist, only you matter. It's completely solipsistic. That's completely egotistical, to say that nothing outside of you is real. Okay, so let me get this straight. My ego makes up the devil so that it can feel good about the bad things it does and blame it on someone else. Maybe not feel good about, but not take responsibility for, by shifting the blame to a made-up devil. Okay. So we're saying the devil is my own ego. Okay. Well, presumably, I'm not the only person that exists. You're not the only person that exists. There are other people who have egos, who also have devils. Okay. You're saying that the devil is the ego. So if I have a devil, you have a devil, that means there are devils that exist outside of me and outside of you. Okay? I can get behind the idea that we have to take responsibility for our own nefarious, evil ways, and that we all need to be looking at the darkness within ourselves. But let's not get it twisted and pretend like that's all we need to do. And that if I only overcome my own shadow, that it will somehow do away with all the other darkness and evil things happening in the world. No, it's not how that works. There are bad people in the world, dark people, people who delight in doing evil things. And we have to contend with that. As children of God, you either call it out, you name it, you deal with it, or you are complicit in it. You don't have to judge a person, but you sure better judge whether or not their activities and their behavior are godly or evil or somewhere in between. There's really no in between. Either a person is behaving in a godly manner or they're not. And there are different degrees to which a person can be out of alignment with God, right? With goodness. Like, jaywalking is not on the same level as murdering. But I just, I, it really bothers me when people, when they spiritual bypass. To me, it's like, you know that saying, the the only thing needed, the only, I'm butchering this, but basically, like, the way that evil continues to go on in the world is by good people doing nothing about it. That's spiritual bypassing. That's the results. That's what happens when you spiritually bypass. When you say, oh, we just need to be positive, we just need to think good. If you just think right and think love and light and you ignore all the bad stuff, that's how the bad stuff goes on. You know? The greatest lie the devil ever told us is he does not exist. That's spiritual gaslighting, or spiritual bypassing. And it is a form of gaslighting. When you can look out in the world and you can see children being raped and abused and trafficked and human beings being bought and sold. That's evil, folks. And for someone to tell you that that's all some sort of projection of your own inner shadow, and that if you will only work on yourself and get right and take responsibility for your own damn ego, that the world will be fine. Yes, I maybe get the idea of the fact that only, it's like maybe a person might be trying to suggest that if we would all just take personal responsibility, just focus on ourselves, that's where it begins, but that's not where it ends, because there are people in this world who delight in evil. They don't want to do good. Their hearts are dark. Okay? So they aren't going to examine the darkness in them. They want to grow the darkness in them. They love it. Those are evil people. And God can heal and save anyone. There are some people who don't want to be saved, and that's between them and God. It's not for us to determine who those people are, but we have to use our discernment. We have to use the discernment that God gave us. We have that responsibility. We know what's right. We know what's wrong. And when we see bad things happening in the world, it's not okay to turn our heads and to say nothing and to do nothing about it. It's not. So if you see something, say something. And if you can do something, do something. But don't lie to yourself. Don't kid yourself. Don't gaslight yourself. Don't spiritually bypass, because that is to work in the service of darkness.